Hi and hello, welcome to a new video where I will be explaining the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. So let's begin. So it all starts when a guy named William Afton met Henry Emily upon starting a new family restaurant called Fredbear's Family Diner. The restaurant was opened to the public in 1983. Their restaurant consisted with two Springlock animatronics, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. Upon this, William had a son who was going to have his birthday party at Fredbear's. This is because William forced him to, even though the crying child was scared of the animatronics. And at this point before the 5 days, this would lead to the child having nightmares, which is when Five Nights at Freddy's 4 takes place. So upon completing Five Nights at Freddy's 4, we are gifted with a minigame at the crying child's birthday party at Fredbear's. We then see his older brother push the crying child into the mouth of Fredbear. The wet tears from him crying led Fredbear's springlocks to close up and biting down on the kid's head. William had not found out about this, and then we are greeted with the crying child's brother saying sorry. And then we see William saying he will fix him. Pretty much, at least in my eyes, the crying child is possessed Golden Freddy. After this, Henry Emily closed the restaurant. After this, 3 other restaurants that William and Henry owned were closed as well. These restaurants being in the mini-games of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. First restaurant being Balloon Boy's Party. The second restaurant being Chica's Party World, where we can see that Chica animatronic being used before the event of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And the last restaurant was Mangle's Party, that was also using the Funtime Foxy animatronic before the events of sister location. So after Fredbear's closed and the other 4 restaurants closed, Henry wanted to take a break from being owner of the restaurants, so he had let William take that role. This was already a bad idea because at this time, William opened a new restaurant, Circus Baby's Pizza World. When I said that this was bad news is because William had designed the animatronics to kidnap kids, so during this time, William was not watching his daughter, in which his daughter had gone to close to Circus Baby and Circus Baby snatched her with her ice cream dispenser, killing his daughter in the progress. William had blamed it on something else's and had to scrap the animatronics and close the restaurant. After this, Henry was already opening a new and improved restaurant, in which he claims it is better than Fredbear's. William decided to join the restaurant as an employee. This is when Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes place. The restaurant had used Funtime Foxy and the Toy Chica animatronics from the previous locations. After this, as of what Phone Guy says, they let the toddlers play with the Funtime Foxy animatronic, or at least known as the Mangle. During the events after Night 2 in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, we can see that William had to have killed the 5 children because the wizards start becoming active on Night 3. As William had used the Golden Freddy suit due to what Phone Guy says.
The place is closed down, at least for a while. Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it.
We can tell that William used this to kill the 5 children. Upon having only a week of being open, Freddy's Pizza closed and the toy animatronics were scrapped. The location insists that the old animatronics will be used for a different location. So after this, we start to head into Five Nights at Freddy's 1. We can see that the old animatronics had been fixed and are now much different in design. William had been the place's mascot, as William would use the Spring Bonnie suit as being a mascot. During the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, we can tell that William does die in the safe room. The safe room is where the Spring Bonnie animatronic is kept. We can tell by the minigame in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 where William dies. Nothing really happens to this location besides the fact that it closed due to the smell of the animatronics, in which the night guard is blamed for the odor. After Five Nights at Freddy's 1, we are greeted with yet another location. This location is where Five Nights at Freddy's 3 takes place. William being deceased inside the Spring Bonnie animatronic and following every camera. This place was never opened to the public, and this is why. My theory is that this location is Fredbear's family diner set as a horror attraction. But this place did not last long because after this the place burns to the ground due to Springtrap, yet they blamed it on wires. After 5 Nights at Freddy's 3 we can tell Springtrap had survived the fire. This is when 5 Nights at Freddy's Pizza Simulator takes place. As we become a manager at our own restaurant. If we buy the following mini-games Midnight Motorist and Fruity Maze we can get secret areas. The Fruity Maze secret is after collecting all fruit 3 times the next time you play you are gifted with the secret that tells you what happened to Susie the girl who possesses Chica. And getting the Midnight Motorist secret area you are gifted with a mini-game of possibly showing how William Afton at his house. If you get the good ending of Pizza Simulator you are gifted with Cassette Man who is also known as Henry. Emily says that he wasn't able to save his own daughter which is Charlotte who does die somewhere after Fredbear's family diner. Anyways he says that all souls should be kept free and that the one should burn in hell. He is referring to William Afton the one inside Scraptrap. After this you have successfully achieved the good ending. This pretty much means it's the end of Pizzeria Sim. The theory that I have come up with was that 5 Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted if next. But let me explain my theory. So Help Wanted is where we the player or otherwise known as Michael Afton. We go back to the other location in which 5 Nights at Freddy's 1 takes place. After this we try and collect different tapes to get the ending without getting caught by Glitch Trap. If done correctly we are then greeted with this ending where we get stuffed into a suit and are now on stage as Freddy himself. Upon this that's the ending of Help Wanted. Oh, and something I forgot to mention when explaining sister location. Michael Afton gets scooped and is pretty much a rotting body in almost every series until Help Wanted in which he gets stuffed into animatronics suit. Fast forward like 20 years later and we now take place in 5 Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. This is where we are greeted with a boy named Gregory, who gets trapped due to him not leaving the Pizzaplex on time. We then have to avoid Kenny who is also known for being like William Afton. Upon beating the game we are gifted with the end. So thank you all for making it this far into the video and I hope you enjoyed watching this. Just remember to make that subscribe button gray with notifications on, so you don't miss any more 5 Nights at Freddy's videos on my channel.